about time to get into that last match of the day, again, of the European region. It's Northern Gaming versus Precision Z, with the commentary on the field is going to be Wave Punk and Finable Carpet. Take it away, guys.
It's been a great day of Rocket League here at the RLCS, and we're going to end it no differently. Precision Z versus Northern Gaming. Precision Z coming off of an excellent win over Supersonic Avengers, facing up against a fan favorite, Northern Gaming. This is going to be a great match, Carpet.
Northern Gaming being one of those monsters that everyone wants to try and topple, but some interesting facts. I know it's not much of a much data we could pull from, but from last week, Northern Gaming actually had the lowest shot percentage at 19%, which means that's a lot of shots they put on because they did still win, and the lowest assist percentage at only 50. And usually Northern Gaming is very well known for a lot of assists using the backboard, a lot of accuracy. So a little uncharacteristic last week, but I really can't say that's how they're going to play today. Sure. I thought that was a nice little tidbit from last week.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's going to be very interesting to see how they move forward here. The first week, especially when it's a qualifier and you're just taking into, we don't know who we're going to be playing that day, you know? And so you're just kind of just playing yourself, just playing your safest game, playing the game that you know you can win the most. Maybe not your most flashy game, not the game that you feel like is your style, but just the game you know, like this style works or whatever. And so, sometimes the statistics can speak of other things, but as we get into the season, this is when it starts to really matter. And maybe they've cooled off a lot. Maybe Northern Gaming isn't as accurate as they used to be. Maybe they haven't been practicing enough, but we're about to find out. We're going to have Northern Gaming in the orange with Precision Z in the blue for the final match of the European Week 1 group stages. And early on, it's Precision Z driving down the field. Siki taking a shot towards the net, blocked away by Mystic. And now, over on the wall, Remco tried to challenge that one with Skyline, but Skyline got all of that one, carried it all the way into the corner. Mystic going to try and carry this one around.
Right now, slow play early on in the game. We usually don't see a lot of craziness coming out. We just see a nice early demo, trying to get field control. Oh, Maestro just putting that to the corner.
Now, Remco and Maestro playing together up there. Some nice play. Almost able to find the first goal of the game within the first 30 seconds. Mystic playing it into the corner. And Maestro able to keep that pressure on as Siki carries it up towards Skyline, gets it over, kind of carries it over the top of his own player, and then puts it into the corner here where Mystic is waiting for him. And this is K'd up. We'll try to play it around. Maestro now with a shot towards the net, blocked away by Skyline. It's in the corner. Miss gets the demo on the wall. Out to Remco, who shoots towards the net, saved by Skyline, and he's trying to turn it into a counterplay. Shut down at that midfield line by Maestro, who puts it into the corner.
You can already see all the shots coming out of Northern Gaming, really trying to keep that pressure on, trying to break up that defense.
Mystic on the wall, carrying it around. It drops in front of the box, and Remco plays it out to the side. Maestro falls back, lets Siki take the shot onto the back wall. He waits where he can get the Spider-Man clear. Skyline will drop that one straight down towards K-Dop, who immediately turns this one around. Mystic has to make the play. He puts it back out into the middle, and then it goes over the top past Maestro. That's the first point on the board for Precision Z.
Siki with an astonishing shot from midfield, just getting the power and accuracy he needs. It looked like it almost could have gotten saved. A little bit of confidence. I believe that was Maestro down there waiting for it, but it was very powerful and placed in the corner well.
Excellent play. Precision Z strikes first here in game number 1. Now Northern Gaming looking to respond. Maestro plays it out of his own corner, gets it over the top of one. Siki plays it back towards the goal, blocked away by Remco and Mystic. Interesting play because they both went up for that one, but it didn't seem like it really drew them too much out of position, partially because there was no immediate follow-up from Precision Z, but Skyline will continue this offensive, keeping it in the orange. Remco plays it over the top, up towards Maestro, who misses again. Maestro with some uncharacteristic whiffs early on in game number 1.
Yeah, but I do like the Northern Gaming is already trying the midfield passes. They're trying not to utilize the corners to the backboard too much, because we've seen a lot of teams getting very good at shutting those plays down.
Maestro trying to play that one over the top of Skyline. Remco will wrap this one around the corner and set it back out into the middle. Maestro puts it wide of the goal. Skyline tries to carry it. It's in a nice spot, but Siki blocks it away, dropping it into the corner. He's going to be able to play that one around. It's Maestro who's watching this one now. He's able to put it out into a nice spot, but no one was there just yet. Remco keeps that pressure on. There's no one back in goal as he comes up and around, tries to push it through. Siki rotates in and gets set up. But Remco goes to zone him out. Mystic with a nice pop over. Siki gets the block, but Maestro comes in with the shot, blocked again by Siki. Excellent positioning, not able to shoot around him just yet, and it's still 1-0 in favor of Precision Z.
We're looking at Northern Gaming putting a lot of shots. They're really trying to amass those statistics, but I don't see a lot of those being terribly creative. They're pretty easy for Precision Z to be defending.
K-Dop drops his one down to Siki with 1:54 left to go in game number 1. Remco plays it into the corner. Skyline plays it out. Now Siki trying to push it through. 1:44 on the clock as Remco tries to set it out into the middle, but Siki gets a nice shot, a nice redirect right in the middle of the field. Sending it towards the other side of the net, gets blocked away by Northern Gaming, and they're back up on the offense. For having as much offense as they have had, like you said, there's been very few shots that have looked like they really had a good chance of going in. This one right now is a nice one if they can just get it around Siki. They drop it to the far side. Excellent play there by Remco, tying up the game.
Remco taking that shot from Maestro. Maestro coming in with a slightly better angle. I'm surprised Remco still went up for it. Maestro definitely had the better touch as far as easiness was concerned, but Remco still getting that tight cut from the angle he was coming in.
And that was exactly what we were saying they needed. They needed to find some sort of angle that was not just a generic straight shot onto the goal. Siki was on one side, they shot to the far side where he wasn't, and were able to find the goal wide open. Tying up this game with 1:12 left to go. Mystic now up on the wall. Play this one through. He's going to carry it over. Skyline reads it and sends it to the side. It's Remco who will be there onto the backboard. Siki carries it into the corner, and K-Dop gets set up in goal. Final minute of gameplay. And it's still tied up. Maestro with a nice touch. Can Remco get the angle? Can't get it through Skyline. He got 3 shots for those touches there, but Mystic will drop this one back down towards Remco. It's going to be the Precision Z players who have ball control as they push forward.
Precision Z's been trying to get some good counterattacks. Northern Gaming has had most control, but as we can tell, as it being a tie game, Precision Z has defended it well.
With 35 seconds remaining, either team could take game number 1. Remco is in the corner, gets it around Skyline, keeping it in that corner. Maestro drops it towards the box, and here comes Mystic to finish it off, getting that lead for Northern Gaming.
Signature pass off the backboard. Maestro putting that so far left from the angle. He actually came up underneath that ball, and Mystic following it through with an exceptional shot.
An amazing play there. Coming out of Northern Gaming, giving them the lead with 24 seconds left. Precision Z on their back foot. They have to play very quickly. They want to tie this one up. This is not a good start as it's in their half. Oh my goodness, Maestro plays it off the corner, bounces it in, makes it a 2-point game.
Following up his own touch, Maestro puts it to the corner and then somehow gets this tight angle, getting just around the ball, putting it to the opposite post. That was incredible.
With that goal, he all but secures the win here in game number 1 for Northern Gaming. We'll see how these kickoffs go, but at this point, Northern Gaming looking very, very comfortable with their lead here. Skyline having to play that one away from his own goal. Mystic gonna drop it back down into the box. It took them a while to get heated up here, with I think all their goals coming after halftime. But it's not going to matter here as Northern Gaming taking game number 1 on Precision Z. An excellent start to them.
Remco, that car though.
That's gorgeous.
Beautiful. Pink.
There's pink loopers and pink heat wave. That guy's got all sorts of stuff going on. He's opened a lot of crates.
He's either gone lucky or traded well. But either way, as you said, Northern Gaming heating up from the beginning of the game. That took a little bit. They were definitely, Precision Z got the first goal, and they were able to come back and spread it to a 2-point game. But, we got to see some of the signature Northern Gaming plays. Some really good individual and team plays in that second half.
Yeah, and even though they didn't have all that many creative shots, as we were saying at the beginning, they did have quite a few of them. 13 shots coming out for Northern Gaming to only 4 on the side of Precision Z. What they lacked in creativity early on, they made up for just in sheer aggression. We've been talking all day about how if you can pound that backboard, if you can really run the defense's boost dry, you can create some shooting opportunities. That's not exactly what happened here. They were able to find the creative shots in the second half, so props to Precision Z for being able to hold off those onslaughts, but still, close game. This one goes in favor of Northern Gaming.
Yeah, and their playstyle would explain the statistic I had where their shot accuracy might not be high, but that means they're putting a lot of shots. The fact that they still won this game by 2 goals and didn't have the great shot accuracy, it's not particularly that it's accurate. They're putting a lot of them on target or on net, but they're getting saved. But again, we've said it before. We'll say it again. It pulls out those defenders. It forces people to make a save. And if it's a good enough shot and you place it in a hard enough place to save, it'll also make the defender make a weak touch, probably to the corner or back out mid, which then you can keep following up with more and more shots until eventually you crack it.
It's kind of an SMG mentality. You don't really care about shot accuracy if you're using a gun that shoots a lot of bullets really fast. Just shoot a whole bunch at it.
Spray and pray tactic.
Exactly, it's a spray and pray tactic. That's what Northern Game's doing now. No, they're playing very, very well. And again, their goals that went in were their creative shots. They were very precise. Excellent placement, especially by Maestro with that last one to completely secure up the win here. Game number 2, we've moved on to Manfield. And Precision Z will be looking to tie up the series. Siki with a nice touch there. Almost setting it up, but Skyline hung very far back. Mystic with a nice setup. Maestro thought he would be able to put it in, but then bails on that one, goes for the boost instead. So then keep the siege going. K-Dop gets it over the top before they're able to get much of anything materialized. Now Mystic onto that backboard. Siki drops it straight down. Maestro comes in, almost is able to shoot, but it goes just high, and Mystic will play it over to the side.
That was a tough shot from Maestro, but look at the fear that Northern Gaming puts in on that backboard. Siki had to use so much boost to go up to try and get that ball on defense, and he did get a good touch, but it still almost wasn't good enough. Maestro almost put a shot on net.
Mystic with a solid clear up to the midfield line. Siki will pick it up, push it back into the corner. Now Northern Gaming pressing back out across midfield. Remco with a shot going just wide of the goal. Siki will send it into the corner. Maestro tries to pop this one back out. Skyline using that wall effectively to avoid the Northern Gaming players, but Maestro almost with a shot, blocked away by K-Dop. They continue to pound this one on. Siki sends it back out. Bump from Remco and Maestro, kind of in the same place. Two players that have been playing together for a very long time. Not very common to see them on top of each other. K-Dop now with ball control, trying to dribble it into Northern Gaming territory. Skyline shuts it down at the midfield. Remco will be able to clear it to the side. Maestro with the counterplay up into the corner. Let's see what they can do.
I like how Maestro was just waiting in the corner for Remco to put it over to the side. They know exactly how they're going to clear. They definitely have tactics when they're going to try and remove it from their own half.
3:12 left to go, still scoreless in game number 2. Remco dropped this one into a dangerous place, but cleared away by K-Dop. An excellent play. Well done by K-Dop also to make sure it did not in any way touch the Northern Gaming player, because any single touch on that side could have easily put it into his own goal. Mystic trying to drop this one in. K-Dop again has to clear it laterally. He's got all 3 Northern Gaming players right in front of him. Goes for the clear and the bumps, but Maestro ends up with ball control and puts it into the blue corner. As we approach halftime here, Remco takes a shot. Siki tries to block it. Skyline has to play it off to the side, and we've seen that time and time again now. The Precision Z just having to kind of make the last-ditch, last-second saves just to avoid the extra shots coming through for Northern Gaming.
Yeah, if Northern Gaming doesn't try and put that pressure on, it definitely gives Precision Z some time to get into formation and try and clear it out without letting any more shots come on.
Just across halftime, still scoreless in game number 2. Skyline plays that one off the far wall and down into the orange box. K-Dop will keep that pressure on. Remco will play it into the corner. Nice touch off the hood of Mystic. Able to play it a bit high here, carry it himself. Maestro stays on the back line. Skyline and K-Dop move up together. Bring a taut line between them here as Remco tries to push through. It's Maestro who will settle this one near the backboard, but Skyline cleared away. Maestro pops it high. It's Mystic looking at it here. Skyline kind of just back and forth in this corner. Both teams kind of just seem to take turns popping up at this. They've had a couple contests, but no real opportunities materializing for either team. So Mystic plays it back down into his own corner, just trying to buy some time, let Maestro and Remco get up behind him, see if they can reformulate on offense. Siki and Remco bump into each other, but it is Maestro who gets the play onto the side. This could be bad if he's able to play this one off the corner. He pops it out to Remco, and there's the shot. First blood drawn by Northern Gaming.
A hard clear all the way across. Good placement by Maestro, realizing there was no defenders back there. Gets there just in time, noticing K-Dop was going to try and put pressure on him. And Remco following through, knowing exactly where Maestro's going to put it. As you said, these two players, they've been playing together for so long. He knows exactly how Maestro's going to approach that situation.
Well done by Northern Gaming, recognizing the empty backfield. Shooting. Getting that first point on the board. Now Precision Z in a similar situation to where they were last time, needing to tie up the game. They were able to get an equalizer last time, but Remco with another shot, able to weasel around the defense, set it in, make it a 2-point game.
Skyline getting caught off guard. He was following this through. He thought he had the time. And then Remco with the pressure coming up too early. K-Dop getting at a net a little bit too soon. Siki too far to the post.
1:06 on game clock for game number 2. Northern Gaming poised to take a 2-game lead in the series. Skyline's able to get that one through Remco. It's Mystic in the back lines who's watching this one. He leaves it for Maestro. As the final minute approaches, Northern Gaming is already threatening again. A nice drop by Remco, getting the dunk on Siki in the corner. Maestro keeps that pressure on. It drops into the box, and it's K-Dop that must clear it to the side. Maestro now in the air, puts it onto the backboard, drops it out for Remco. Cleared by Siki onto the back line. K-Dop with the shot, the counterplay coming through. Precision Z looking hot.
What a magnificent counterplay. A hard clear from Siki up to his teammate K-Dop. Not retreating, instead cheating up, trying to redirect this onto net, making sure that Mystic has no idea where this is going to go, using the misdirection to his advantage.
39 seconds left in game number 2. Precision Z with an opportunity to tie it up right now. Only down by 1. 34 seconds remaining. Skyline keeps it in the corner as Mystic wraps this one around. It's Siki in goal who pops it high, keeps it from crossing. K-Dop over the top of Maestro. Remco wins the 50-50 with Skyline. Siki responds with space. Now Mystic sending a shot towards the net. Skyline again has to clear it, keep it from allowing to cross the goal at all. 10 seconds left. K-Dop pushing this one around. Maestro keeps it in the corner. As the last 3 seconds cool down, it's gonna be Precision Z with the full court carry if they want to pull it off. It's not gonna happen. Northern Gaming takes games 1 and 2, and they've got Precision Z on match point.
Looking strong, but Precision Z kept that to a 1-point game. They were able to get that really nice redirect goal with about a minute left, but it was too hard for them to get the next goal. And that's a little side note. One of the fun things about casting, especially when I'm on player cam, I like seeing all the players' different camera settings. For those of you that don't know, you can specify how you want the camera settings in Rocket League. There's no particular right or wrong. It's mostly just personal preference. There's definitely some that are probably wrong. If you're definitely way too close or have no field of view, it'd be tough. But I think, who was I on last? I was on K-Dop, I think. K-Dop has a massive field of view. He is really far from the ball, but I've always loved kind of seeing that. It's interesting for me.
Yeah, it's very interesting, especially when I find this pro player who plays with the cameras very, very far in, and I'm like, man, how do you see what's around you? But it's just they have this peripheral awareness. They know where everyone is, and they kind of have the field mapped out in their head. And because they have the camera zoomed in, they're allowed to do so much more fine-tuned stuff with their cars, and as they see the details on the ball. Because I usually play more with the field just blown out as far as I just want to see as much as I possibly can. Maybe that's why I'm not a top-tier Rocket League player. I don't know. Who knows? But
but Precision Z, they're going to have to work pretty hard to make sure they come back in the series. They are down 2. They are staring down the barrel. They are 1 away from losing this series. This is last year that I'm sure they're a little shaken up from the last one, but they did win against Supersonic Avengers after a nice battle to Game 5.
Absolutely, yes. Precision Z played so well against Supersonic Avengers. Now they are up with their backs against the wall here with Northern Gaming, though. Northern Gaming coming out in their first series, their only series of the day, the last series of the day. And taking it to them right now, just playing as that team that we know them to be, the fan favorites. Commonly considered one of the top 3 teams in Europe. Maestro trying to drop this one in early on. It's do or die time for Precision Z, and this is not the good way to start. Remco looking to drop this one in, gets it in there. That's a goal very early on for Northern Gaming.
They're very consistent when they do put on pressure. Mystic putting that first one on target, forcing Siki to try and make a risky save. Siki had to put it on his own backboard. If he'd put it a little bit harder, it might have been a tougher shot for Remco, but since it was a weak bounce, Remco was able to get a backboard shot.
4:46 left to go. It only took them 14 seconds to get on the board here. Northern Gaming has scored first in every game? No, I think the first game Precision Z actually got the first point on the board, but otherwise it's been the Northern Gaming show as they have been able to hold on very tightly in the first 2 games. Game 3, they're set to go. As Maestro dribbles this one up, trying to push it through Skyline. Now Mystic playing this one around very tightly. He had that ball in the corner, immediately turned it around. Such fine ball control. Drops this one towards the box. Siki plays that one down. Remco on that back line. Plays it up. Skyline able to send one towards the net. It goes wide, but it creates some spaces. K-Dop sends one towards the net. Again, not able to find the net. He drops it back into the box. Siki comes up. The rotation's coming through for Precision Z right now. Siki keeping that one aggressive. We saw him doing that last game against Supersonic Avengers, where he was able to stay and be a nuisance in their box. At this point right now, it's still 1-0 in favor of Northern Gaming. So we've got 3:45 left to go.
Another subtle thing we don't see very much. I've talked about recovery and having your car land on all 4 wheels. Oh, this could be a good opportunity for Skyline. A little bit too weak.
Good shot.
Boost control is a big part of this, and making sure that you have enough to advance onto the game. Siki, can he get this angle?
Oh, he set it up for Skyline, who drops it in over the top of Northern Gaming, making it a tie game.
Siki being patient, knowing he didn't really have the angle for this. He could have potentially, but he lined it up too wrong. So instead, he pops it up high, out of reach of Mystic, and Skyline reading his teammate, getting across for it.
3:27 left to go. Precision Z holding on. They're going to have to reverse sweep Northern Gaming here. Well, this is how it starts, is with winning Game 3. They drop another one there. So close as Mystic clears it away, holding on to this tie game. Skyline dropping it in off the bottom of his car. Almost got a crazy shot in, and still in a dangerous place, but Mystic will be able to clear it away as Remco gets set up behind him. Siki keeps the pressure on. Remco comes out to clear. Now Maestro Sending it over to Mystic. A nice team play there to send it into the corner. As K-Dop pressures this one around. They're able to pass it up. Siki onto the backboard. Passes it back to K-Dop, who plays it up high. I don't think K-Dop was expecting that pass, as Remco is going to end up with ball control here, putting it onto the backboard for Northern Gaming. Maestro able to take a shot, almost went in, but Skyline clears it away, dodging the bullet there, keeping it a tie game.
We do see them, we saw a really good attempt by Precision Z earlier. They're playing a little more high risk, high reward. We see them committing hard, but it worked well. It got him that first goal.
Oh, Remco almost had that one through K-Dop. K-Dop pressuring up here. Mystic sending that one towards the backboard. It's wide. It's going to need some help. Maestro might be there. Remco up to try and just drop it back into the box. He almost had the angle onto the goal. Can Mystic finish? No, it goes wide. K-Dop and Siki now going to try and pressure this one out of their own half. Get it past Maestro, playing very patiently, but K-Dop maybe a bit too patiently. Maestro comes up from the back, won't have any of it. Gets the demo. 2:03 left to go, still a tie game.
Maestro getting defeated.
Oh, and he gets the shot, the counterplay. Maestro coming up hot right now.
After getting out-dribbled, he was able to turn around and get the demo anyways, but Mystic with the punch off the sidewall. That miss, that defensive miss by Precision Z left it wide open for Maestro.
1:59 left on the clock, and Northern Gaming has the lead again. Precision Z has yet to get the lead here in game number 3. They're going to need it if they want to see game 4. Maestro dropping another one, Feather in his boost, looking for an opportunity to finish it off, but Skyline put it too high. And now the ball is back in midfield as Mystic takes a shot. They drew out some goalies. Skyline realized at the last moment that was not a good decision. He fell back. Now Precision Z coming in, trying to push that one through. It is Maestro who takes a shot towards the net. K-Dop and Skyline stacked up on top of each other. Northern Gaming pressuring again, just shot after shot coming through from them. We talked about that spray and pray mentality, kind of a secondary strategy they can use. And right now, they have been able to put so many shots onto that backboard. Skyline just got himself a savior medal at 1:18. And they are going to have to find another point if they want to be able to take the lead.
I have seen Northern Gaming give up possession a little bit too much, taking shots directly at a defender. A lot of times when you see somebody in net, sometimes it's worth it to take a shot in net, but if they're angled to get a hard clear, all you're doing is giving up possession. So sometimes it's a little better to put it to a wall or put it to the side or try and pass it off to a teammate.
Final minute of gameplay. Siki sets this one up. Skyline goes up but can't get it through Mystic. The reads with the 50-50s have been excellent from Northern Gaming, always contesting right in front of their own box. Remco in the air. As Mystic clears it away. K-Dop and Siki deep in enemy territory. They know that with this last 35 seconds, they have to score if they want an opportunity. Remco goes for the counterplay, goes for the long clear. Does not quite get it through, but Mystic and Maestro hanging in that backfield. 25 seconds left on the clock for Precision Z to find a point. Maestro and Siki just playing safely, but a nice demo from Skyline. K-Dop crosses it, but it goes off the post, doesn't go in. 12 seconds remaining, they still need it, but nobody's back there to gain ball control as the final countdown happens, and Maestro's gonna make them pay for it. It's a 2-point game with 7 seconds left.
They had to play a little high risk at the end, but this time there wasn't a high reward. Sadly, it ended up losing possession, giving it to Maestro to spread the lead, but we talked about it plenty of times, one of those opportunities. When you're down by a goal, you're doing everything you can at that point. You're throwing all your eggs in a single basket and hoping you can at least get a goal out of it.
You gotta hurt for K-Dop. He had it right there. They had zoned out one of the goalies. They had demoed one of the others. All he had to do was send it into the goal. And at this point, it has hit the final second. It's a 2-point game, and so Northern Gaming will take the 3-0 sweep over Precision Z, a display of just offensive prowess from Northern Gaming.
Even though it was their first game of the day, they came out strong. But Precision Z, I liked what they did. There were a few times they had some opportunities they did not capitalize on. A couple of shots that I think if they'd just taken a little bit more time to put it on target, it would have gone in. But overall, I really like their show.
No, they played very, very well, and they can stay consistent with that just onslaught of shots. 11 shots again coming through from Northern Gaming, holding Precision Z to just 7 and forcing them to make 8 saves in their own box. Really, really forcing Precision Z to play a lot of defense here, which again, I think this starts to get into the territory of things we were talking about in Season 1, where it's like you don't want to have saves necessarily because that means that you're letting the other team take lots of shots. You want to be able to defend at the midfield. Precision Z not able to pull that off this time, but better luck next week. Northern Gaming taking the 3-0 sweep over Precision Z, and that's going to wrap it up for us over here in the booth. We'll send it back over to the desk with Axel Toss and the gang. Guys, tell us what you saw.
Thank you, Wave Punk and Findable Carpet. Excellent commentary as always. Of course, Northern Gaming with the Smooth and down to business, 3-0 there over Precision Z. Very nicely done, showing that they are one of the top teams in Europe without a doubt. Let's take another look at a replay from that series.
So Skyline started off with good defense, a shot on net, keeping that one out. But then, and then also Sicky helped them get the early lead. But at the end, Maestro was too much for Precision Z.
Yeah, one after another. Maestro and Remco taking some solo plays in, some ridiculous angles, and phenomenal placement. After another, you see another one coming here where Maestro plays it upfield, and then with the help, he gets there so fast and plays it. They love using that back wall and that backboard. It's just nonstop.
Remco ready for that pass. Mystic, or all the players from Northern scored a goal in game number 1, but then in game number 2, it was all Remco, and 3, all Maestro. Maestro played very well for him, getting those solo goals. I thought Maestro and Remco specifically, again, they're just so good. And Mystic, he didn't make any mistakes, also played well. All around, Northern Gaming came out looking very polished in their first series.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, it just wasn't enough. Skyline and them had some really good plays. You saw that pass over to Skyline, just right over the top of Mystic. It just wasn't enough. Northern Gaming applied that pressure and then really ran away with it when it counted.
In a sense, we were talking earlier, like, oh, it's getting kind of late in Europe. I wonder how they're feeling. Did Northern Gaming just go into that game like, all right, let's just get a quick 3-0 and go to bed or something like that?
They did look like another tier of team. I was thinking it was going to be a little bit closer because Precision Z came out and took that close Game 5 series over Supersonic Avengers. It was very back and forth, but Northern, they just had complete control over the game. Precision Z even had a few mistakes. The one that left a wide open net for Maestro to just punt right in. Really, Northern Gaming looked like a different class of team.
Right, and you look at it and the way that they play is so unique. They talked about how they just kind of spray and pray, and a lot of those are meant on purpose using that backboard. Like, I tried to do the comparison, I didn't get the numbers right at the very end, but you look at Precision Z, for 16 assists, they had 17 shots. Very precise, they know what they're doing, and they're gonna make it off. But then, even before I got the last game included, they had 22 shots for only 7 assists for Northern Gaming. So it just goes to show that they're going to keep putting them off that backboard until they get one that sticks.
So, speaking of the entire day, as that was our last match and we are concluding the first week of European play, in seeing that performance from Northern Gaming for you guys, is that the most impressive performance you've seen thus far? Or what other names are up there when thinking about today?
Flipside came out a little slow, but they were able to put it away and take the win over Red Eye. But really, Red Eye was the surprise for me today. They forced it to that Game 5 against Flipside, and then 3-0'd Oh My Dog. Red Eye coming into it, not as many people were thinking that they would be a team that would gravitate towards the top, but they looked very impressive.
Yeah, they're looking very, very strong. Also, Market Aces, can't leave them out. You saw how well Devo and Violet Panda and Pash even, all 3 of them really sticking it to the teams that they played against. But Devo's my MVP for the day. That guy played out of his mind.
Now, a little bit of a weird question, forgive me, but in comparing Europe to North America, right? We saw North America play yesterday, we saw Europe play today. Are you all able to make any claims on comparing those teams? Obviously, we're looking deep into the future because they're not going to actually clash until the grand final potentially. But, watching North America versus watching Europe, your thoughts?
I think there's a lot of new talent in North America that's starting to rise up towards the top. I think both regions are very, very close. I think it's closer than it's ever been. But I think there were less surprises in Europe this time around. Flipside, Northern, we expected them to come out and perform well, and they did. Right. So I think a little bit fewer surprises, but overall, in terms of skill gap between the 2 regions, I really think it's very close.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit more predictable on EU. Even with all the roster swaps and stuff, a lot of the games that we expected to have them come out and win, they did, which was nice for a change compared to NA yesterday. But that gap that you're talking about, it is starting to get a little bit closer. EU, I think, just has a little bit faster play style in some aspects, but even still, NA, the mechanical skill and what they're able to accomplish with it is closing in quickly.
It's certainly setting a pretty cool stage here as we're watching all these, these North American players and European teams. We all started in open qualifiers, right? Mm-hmm. And any team can come out and make a statement. And we've seen some teams do that, even though, we've seen some teams lose and do that, like Deception, for example. But as far as adding to the value of the Rocket League play we're seeing, how are you guys reacting to the new format and seeing some new faces perform really well?
It's, again, an open qualifier. I am all for allowing players to have a shot at making it to the biggest stage. And this whole RLCS completely open to anyone who wanted to sign up and play. And we did have the surprise with Deception. I love the fact that we can have these open teams come in and play.
Not only that, but we're just in week 1. Like, we have so many more games of league play to come through and see how these teams develop over a course of, a month and a half. It's going to change up, I assume. There's going to be some differences and some definitely good storylines building as you see teams like Red Eye and Deception and stuff come through and try to clutch, because they bring those guys to the brink. It's really good.
Now, moving beyond the team conversation a little bit and more into individual players, is there any particular individual player that is just shining above the rest? Rizzo comes to mind. Hey, we can talk both regions too. Espion comes to mind. From the European region, we had
Devo.
Yeah, Devo. Right.
Oh
what are the names for you guys that as fans at home that we're looking out for to really make fireworks happen?
I mean, you called it. Devo, I thought, played spectacularly. He always is impressive, and he's a player that we didn't get a chance to see in Season 1, and he has been just outstanding so far. And then in North America, we've got to see a new player like Vince. I thought played very well for Deception. So there's a lot of great names and new names, and I'm excited to see who steps up big in week 2.
Yeah, can't argue with that. The other one, and even though he gets foreshadowed by Devo, Violet Panda, who really showed up too. He's played very well. It stinks because Devo's making some of those shots when he just gets overshadowed by it. And then on the NA side, Vince, like you said, Vince played very, very well.
Awesome to see all this new talent and established talent just further prove how good they are at Rocket League. Let's take a look at the standings from today. We are wrapped up. We did see 7 matches out of the European region, and here is how everything has panned out. Mocket Aces at the very top with a very clean and smooth 2-0, followed there by the number 1 and 2 seed before this day started, Flipside Tactics and Northern Game.
And this, again, not as many surprises. People expected Mocket, Flipside, and Northern to be on top, and now we're seeing that battle for the 4th spot between Red Eye, Supersonic, Avengers, and Precision C. It's going to be really fun to watch this play out over the next 4 weeks of league play.
Right. Even though I mentioned there's still 4 weeks of play, we're on week 1, still got 3 more to come. It starts early. Having those games against teams that are expected to be a little bit more towards the bottom, you need to clutch those wins, because if you don't, it's going to make it difficult to come down the battle. We saw Supersonic Avengers at the end of last season. They missed out by 5 points. 1 game, that's all you needed, and they're out. So they do matter. Every game matters, and that's what I love about it. Everything's crucial.
It's a very good point. And again, it's the top six that these guys are going for to be able to advance into the regional playoffs. Now, we're concluding the day, guys, and I want to ask, anything else you want to say before we close out the show here?
I mean, happy late birthday to Hanzo. We missed the chance
Hanzo
for that
was yesterday.
one.
Happy
but
birthday,
hey,
Hanzo.
better late than never, right?
Right. No, that's
Cool.
That's about it. Hanzo, happy birthday, and I guess hi, Mom. I guess that's all you got.
Hi, Mom. I like that one. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our coverage here of the European Week 1 for RLCS Season 2. Our next broadcast is going to be next week on Saturday. Remember, we start on Saturdays at noon Pacific and on Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific. Of course, that's 6 p.m. CEST and 3 p.m. CEST for the North American matches. But that's going to do it for our coverage today. Thank you so much for watching the Rocket League Championship Series. This is Season 2. And again, we have so many more awesome weeks of Rocket League action coming your way. So, see you next week.